Manchester United are targeting Arda Güler. Could Real Madrid really let the Turkish wonderkid go? Mourinho is on his way back to the Premier League, and the name of his next club is already being discussed. Chelsea are preparing a €70 million bid for Viktor Gyökeres, another big gamble up front. Florentino Pérez may have already found Ancelotti's replacement, and Man City are seriously considering Lunin as their new number one. All that and much more in today's episode. Guys, as always, let's aim for 400 likes. And if we hit it, I'm officially submitting a transfer request to the building next door. I hear their Wi-Fi is faster. Now, let's get into the rumours shaking up the football world. Looks like another storm is brewing at Tottenham. Ange Postecoglou, who not long ago felt like a breath of fresh air after years of dull football under his predecessors, is now teetering on the edge. And this isn't just rumour mill chatter. It's starting to sound like the final bell. After Spurs' 17th defeat of the season, this time to Wolves, the fans have had enough. And the board, already turning their heads toward, guess who? Yep, Jose Mourinho. The same Jose they sacked just days before a League Cup final. Now he's being whispered about as a potential saviour, if things spiral any further. But it's not just Jose on the shortlist. Oliver Glasner of Crystal Palace is also being considered. Looks like Spurs are cooking up Plan B, and C, and probably D too, just in case Ange burns through the last of his goodwill. Now here's the thing. The issue isn't just the results. Sure, Spurs aren't exactly competing for major silverware, but the real problem is how it all looks. Postecoglou started strong, solid finish in the top 5, got backing in the transfer market, and then it all fell apart. Instead of holding his hands up, we've had arrogance. Instead of unity, we've seen finger-pointing. Ange's latest vibe. Everyone's against me. The fans, the press, even his own players apparently don't get it. Welcome to England, Ange. Not some alternate reality where you're the misunderstood genius. This isn't classic us versus the world Mourinho style either. At least Jose had charisma and a sense of timing. This feels like a one-man show with no script. Ange pretends he's protecting his squad, but in reality, he's throwing them under the bus faster than you can say Spursy. And here's where it gets interesting. If Tottenham crash out of the Europa League, sources say that could be the final straw. And then, the door might actually swing back open for Mourinho. Yeah, even with all his Turkish drama at Fenerbahce and the usual headline frenzy, the man knows how to deliver when disaster's looming. But are Spurs fans ready to go through the whole Jose experience again? Or is Glasner the safer play, a shot at something new without all the media circus? Either way, one thing's crystal clear. That whole fairy tale about brave attacking football under Ange, it's toast. Burnt toast. What do you think? Is bringing Mourinho back a lifeline or a sign of pure desperation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This one's going to divide opinions. Fabrizio Romano, and you know he rarely misses, has pretty much confirmed it. Papa Carlo, Mr. Ancelotti himself, might actually be on his way out of Real Madrid. Well, not officially confirmed, but Romano said the chances of Carlo leaving are huge. That's enough to raise eyebrows in Madrid, and immediately one name jumps out as the potential heir, Xabi Alonso. Yep, the same Alonso who's been working magic at Bayer Leverkusen, building a seriously competitive team over there. But here's the thing, Leverkusen have got a death grip on him. They're basically begging Ancelotti to stay in Madrid just so they don't lose their man. They're making it clear, we want Alonso right here with us. And honestly, that could be a real headache for Los Blancos. Imagine the scenario. Ancelotti gets the boot, which is looking more and more likely, especially with the team's patchy form this season, and Bayer refused to let Alonso go. Then what? Who does Perez turn to? Zidane? Again? A third stint? Come on, how many comebacks can one man make? We're not calling Zizou back, but if you keep coming back to this channel without subscribing, what are we? Real Madrid? How many times are you gonna come back without signing the deal? Hit that subscribe button already. Anyway, even Zidane seems to have moved on. Word is he's lined up to take over the French national team after Deschamps, possibly post-World Cup. That's a whole different stage. So Zizou? Probably off the table. And then, boom, Klopp enters the conversation. While everyone's busy talking Alonso, some inside voices at Real, according to Sport ES, are whispering to Perez, what about Jurgen Klopp? They're pitching him as a dream appointment. Tactically sharp, a commanding figure, can handle a locker room full of stars, and definitely has the mindset to deal with the pressure cooker that is the Bernabeu. Tempting, right? Klopp's famous gegenpressing lighting up the Spanish capital sounds juicy, but let's be realistic. First, Klopp just joined the Red Bull Football Group, not as a coach, but in a more global operations-type role. Still, it's a brand new project. Would he really walk away from that just like that? Second, Klopp's coaching style has always thrived in family-like clubs. Think Dortmund, think Liverpool, clubs where he builds from the ground up with tight-knit squads and fewer egos. Real Madrid? That's a different beast. Big names, big pressure, big politics. Would they even give him the same freedom he had in Liverpool? Doubtful. In the future? Maybe. But right now, not likely. So let's break it down. Alonso? Complicated. Zidane? Been there, done that. Klopp? Incredible, but unlikely. Who else is there? Feels like Perez is running short on truly elite available options. Maybe that's the key. Maybe Ancelotti only leaves if a proper replacement is locked in. Because if Alonso stays put and other targets are unavailable or too risky, maybe Papacarlo just finishes his contract in peace. But hey, when guys like Romano say Carlo might be leaving, we've got to take that seriously. These next few months are going to be huge. If Ancelotti doesn't deliver silverware, his chances of staying drop fast. Still, the real question remains. Who's next? That's the million-euro question for Florentino Pérez. What do you think? Who would you want to see in charge at Real Madrid if Ancelotti really goes? Drop your pick in the comments. Let's talk about it. Looks like Andriy Lunin is back on the radar of Europe's elite. And we're not talking about just anyone. We're talking Manchester City and Bayern Munich. Yep, Lunin might be in for a major career upgrade this summer, and it could get hot. Reports from Spain suggest that City are seriously considering replacing Ederson. Now, officially, the Brazilian isn't leaving, but for months there's been smoke around a potential move to Saudi Arabia, and where there's smoke, there's usually a mountain of petrodollars. That's where Lunin steps in, the guy who sat behind Courtois for years, waited, stayed patient, and when his chance finally came, he grabbed it with both gloves. Over 50 appearances for Real Madrid, 20 clean sheets, and a calm, mature presence between the posts. No drama, just business. Be honest, who saw this coming? A Ukrainian keeper being considered for the #1 spot under Pep Guardiola. But let's not kid ourselves, things at City aren't as settled as they look. Ederson practically has a suitcase packed. Ortega, solid, but could be let go too. So yeah, the interest is very real. City have already been in touch with Lunin's camp, and they're not alone. Enter Bayern Munich. Now that's a twist. The Germans are always on the lookout for high-value, low-cost deals, and Lunin fits the bill perfectly. Manuel Neuer isn't getting any younger, and Bayern needs someone reliable for the long haul. Plus, let's not forget, Lunin is just entering his prime. 26 years old. That's peak age for a goalkeeper. But here's the big question. What does Lunin himself want? Stay in Madrid and risk another season on the bench? Or finally chase consistency and a real challenge elsewhere? From the vibes coming out, it sounds like he's ready for the next step. And if it really comes down to a battle between City and Bayern, he's got one hell of a decision to make. Two massive clubs, two chances to win everything. But also, two high-pressure environments, competition for the starting spot, constant scrutiny. Is Lunin ready for that? Can you see him thriving at City? Or would Bayern suit him better? And here's another question. Do City even need someone like Lunin if Ederson is still around? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. Looks like Chelsea have finally switched on. No, seriously. Instead of chasing another flashy name like Osimhen, the club is now locked in on a guy who just gets the job done. No drama, no hype, just goals. Enter Viktor Gyökeres. And not just monitoring, Chelsea have already made contact with his camp, confirming their interest, finally. Some common sense. Yes, that Gyökeres, the Swedish machine who's already scored 44 goals and registered 11 assists this season for Sporting. Just think about that. 31 goals in 28 league games. That's not football, that's PlayStation stats. And while Chelsea keep bouncing between long-term projects and yet another tactical reboot, this guy is the type of no-nonsense forward who turns half chances into actual goals. The kind of striker Stamford Bridge has been crying out for. And here's the plot twist. According to Team Talk, Chelsea are cooling off on Osimhen. Yeah, turns out that €100 million plus price tag was a bit much, even for Todd Boehly. So what's the alternative? Gyökeres, for around 70 to 75 million euros. Still a huge fee, but this time it actually makes sense. It's not another, maybe he'll work. maybe he won't experiment. It's a proper investment, one backed by numbers and consistency. But of course, Chelsea aren't alone. Newcastle have him on top of their list, especially if Isak gets poached. Arsenal and Liverpool, they're circling too. So if Chelsea don't want to end up scrambling again with a broken plan B, they need to move fast, not deadline day desperation. Now, Sporting aren't fools either. They've set the price at 75 million euros, but they're playing poker, waiting for someone to blink and go higher. Classic transfer standoff. The real question, does Chelsea have the guts to go all in? Or are they going to sit back and wait for better value while someone else grabs him? And let's be clear, Gyökeres isn't just a finisher. He presses, he bullies defenders, he runs the channels, plays solo or in a pair, exactly the type of forward Enzo Maresca's system needs. Not just sterile possession, structured, aggressive attack. This guy fits the blueprint. And let's not forget, Chelsea are also reportedly looking for an experienced number 9 to push Jackson. Well, here he is. Not a fantasy, not a project, a grown man who shows up ready to deliver from day one. This is the kind of signing that's like a good like on a video. No noise, no flash, just works. So if you're here for honest football hard work, smash that like button. If Chelsea are truly serious about ending the possession with no end product nightmare, if they want solutions, not more PR buzzwords, then Viktor Gyökeres might just be their most sensible transfer in years. No fluff, no shiny marketing campaign, just a guy who puts the ball in the net, regularly, efficiently, relentlessly. And isn't that what the fans have been begging for? After the chaos of Havertz, Lukaku, and every other almost striker, maybe it's time to finally get one who just scores. So, Chelsea, you in? Or are we waiting for another miracle on deadline day? Remember Club Leon from Mexico? Yeah, that Leon, the one that was supposed to play at the FIFA Club World Cup. Well, forget them. They've just been erased from the tournament. Boom, gone, out of nowhere. Why? How? No one really knows. The details are murky at best. But that's not even the wildest part. The real drama? Who's going to take their spot at football's biggest money grab of the year? And here comes the plot twist. FIFA is seriously considering inviting Barcelona. Yep, you heard that right. Not because they earned it, not because they won something that qualifies them, just because. Because Barca means ratings, sponsors, and cold, hard cash for Gianni Infantino and his merry gang. Picture this, a bunch of suits in Zurich scratching their heads. Who could bring us the most clicks and money? Oh, Barca. Tons of fans, huge brand. Who cares about rules when there's profit on the table? Sounds corrupt? Well, what did you expect from FIFA? Word on the street is, Infantino's actually a bit nervous, afraid the football world might call BS on this favoritism. I mean, how do you justify handing out a wild card just because a club used to be great? But hey, when did FIFA ever care about reputation? Wait, do they even have one left? And what about Barca themselves? Surprisingly, they're playing it classy. Sources like AS say Laporta doesn't want to beg for an invite, even if, by some miracle, they go on to win the Champions League. Still no asking. Do they want in? Of course. Prestige, global spotlight, not to mention serious prize money, which would be a godsend for a club drowning in debt. But they're sticking to their line. We don't ask. If they want us, they'll come to us. Respect, Joan, whether it's pride, dignity, or just smart PR. Gotta say, that's a boss move. Oh, and here's where it gets juicy. Apparently Infantino and Laporta are close, like friendly. So now we're all wondering, will Gianni pull strings for his buddy despite the backlash? Rumor has it, the odds are pretty high. And if not, no tears in Catalonia. Barca could still win the UCL and head off to the UEFA Super Cup instead. And honestly, skipping the chaos of a Club World Cup might actually help them prep better for next season. Not the worst outcome. But wait, there's more. The real bombshell? Insiders claim that Infantino, who publicly backed UEFA and Ceferin in the Super League war, secretly supports the breakaway project. Yep, FIFA's own president might be Team Super League. Can you imagine that betrayal? Gianni waiting for the perfect moment to stab Ceferin in the back and switch sides. Classic Infantino. The guy plays politics like it's Champions League final night. So what does that mean? The Super League may not just be alive, it might have FIFA's top dog in its corner. A FIFA versus UEFA showdown? That could reshape the entire football world as we know it. Honestly, it's kind of terrifying. But what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear where you stand on all this. Arda Güler, the kid they once called the Turkish Messi. But so far, it's looking more like he's got a VIP pass to the Bernabeu stands than a place in Real Madrid's starting 11. The talent is there, no doubt, but the game time, practically non-existent. And now, buckle up, because we might be entering a brand new episode in his transfer saga. Enter Manchester United. Yep, rumours are heating up that United are eyeing Güler, and they're not just browsing. Reports say they're ready to drop £50+ million to bring him in. That's a massive leap from the £17 million Real paid to sign him from Fenerbahce. But here's the thing, it's not about the money, it's about potential. Güler is still seen as a golden boy, just stuck in the wrong system. Imagine this, Arda's sitting on the bench, watching chance after chance go by, while Carlo Ancelotti calmly rotates his galaxy of stars. No rhythm, no run of games, injuries haven't helped either. And the player once hailed as the pride of Fenerbahce, right now, he's looking more like a ghost than the next big thing. So it's no surprise that behind closed doors in Madrid, conversations are happening. A loan move, maybe even a permanent sale, and that's when United swoop in. They see a chance to grab not just a player, but a potential superstar, as long as he's given the two things he needs most, freedom and belief. Under Ruben Amorim, who's currently reshaping the squad from scratch, Güler could be a perfect fit. But of course, it's never that simple. For one, Arsenal are also lurking. They've got an eye on him too, and they're more than capable of offering him a new home in London. And then there's the big what if in Madrid, the manager situation. If Ancelotti stays, Güler likely goes back to warming the bench. But if Xabi Alonso returns to the Bernabeu, everything could change. Alonso respects players like Arda. He was that kind of player, someone who made the team tick, and he might be the one to finally unleash Güler's potential in Spain. So now we ask the question, is a Premier League move Arda's reboot or another trap? United are willing to take that gamble, and us? We're already picturing it. Just imagine it, Arda Güler at Old Trafford linking up with Garnacho and Bruno Fernandes. Magic, right? Let us know what you think. Is Güler worth the risk? Or should he fight for his place in Madrid? Hit that like if you're hyped for what this summer could bring. This one's only just getting started. Bayern Munich are back at it, turning on that smart genius mode they love so much. But this time, they're not out hunting for the next wonderkid or a blockbuster signing. Nope, they're actually looking for a backup for Harry Kane. And get this, they don't want some young prodigy or future Ballon d'Or candidate. They want a cheap, experienced, ideally free striker. Classic Bayern, minimum spending, maximum output. And the criteria, honestly, sounds like something from a meme. Must score goals, ask for peanuts in wages, and preferably cost nothing at all. Basically, they're on the hunt for another Choupo-Moting. Remember him? Came in for next to nothing and delivered exactly what was needed. Looks like the thinking in Munich is, why overpay when we can get a reliable bargain? And maybe, just maybe, make Harry sweat a little on the bench. But hold on. Why does Bayern even need a Kane replacement? Is he leaving, or is this just some insurance move? Well, the truth is, rumours of Kane heading back to the Premier League have been swirling for a while now. One day, it's United. Next day, it's Chelsea. And suddenly, Liverpool get thrown into the mix. Let's be real, half the Premier League would take Kane back in a heartbeat. Even at 32, he's still a machine. But there's a catch, his value's dropping. When Bayern signed him, he was worth around €110 million. Now, closer to €90 million and falling. Age waits for no one. And let's not forget, Bayern are a club where everyone carries a calculator in their back pocket. They don't hold on to assets if there's a smart window to sell. So yeah, they're clearly thinking ahead. Kane likely won't finish his career in Munich. He'll probably be sold while he still has that world-class striker tag attached. But who's going to pay close to €100 million for a 32-year-old? Sure, age isn't a death sentence, especially when a player's still delivering. But come on, would you want your club dropping €100 million on a guy who might start slowing down in a season or two? This isn't Football Manager. You can't just edit his age in pre-season. So yeah, it's classic Bayern. Calculated, efficient, and always planning for the next move. As for Harry, he could still shock everyone. The only question is where. Will it be in Munich, or are we about to see him tearing it up back in the good old Premier League? What do you think? Can you picture Kane in a Chelsea shirt, or maybe even Liverpool red? Drop your thoughts in the comments, let's talk about it. Looks like Cristiano Ronaldo isn't going anywhere. In fact, he's locking himself into Saudi Arabia like a nail in hardwood. According to Marca, Ronaldo has agreed to extend his contract with Al Nassr for at least 2 more seasons. If everything goes to plan, he'll stay until 2026. Coincidence? Of course not. That's the year of the World Cup in the US, Canada, and Mexico. And yes, Cristiano still dreams of playing for Portugal at 41 years old. He's gunning for his 5th World Cup. But this new deal? It's not just one more year of football. It's a full-on multi-layered project, with commercial deals, ambassador roles, even investments in Saudi business ventures. He's not just a footballer anymore, he's practically a statesman in boots. And the salary, 200 million euros per year. Nope, not a typo. 200 million euros a year, and that's just the base. Now throw in sponsorships, promos, and the fact that he's literally the global face of Saudi Arabia's football project. Right now, Ronaldo is more than a player. He's a brand, a political tool, a shiny symbol of the country's football ambitions. Here's the twist. Rumors are flying that Saudi Arabia is eyeing a move for Valencia. And guess who's being linked as a possible figurehead or even owner? Cristiano Ronaldo. Can you imagine Ronaldo in a suit running Valencia as club president? Wild. But back to Al Nassr. Since arriving at the end of 2022, he hasn't just played. He's taken the wheel. He influences signings, shapes the squad, and sets the tone. Even the recent move for John Duran isn't random. It's part of a bigger push. They want silverware, both in the Saudi League and the AFC Champions League. And Cristiano's made one thing very clear. He didn't come to Saudi to retire. He came to win, to lead, and to remind the world exactly who he is. So, what do you think? Is the 2026 World Cup still a realistic goal for Ronaldo? Or is it turning into more of a dream than a plan? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious where you stand on this one.